Welcome to Inside New York. I'm thrilled as always to have back on the show our king of Black theater, Woodie King, who is going to talk about the fall season. Because the last time we had our discussion with the cast of Looking for Leroy and the playwright and the director, that was in the summer. And as this is part of an ongoing series on Black theater and how they are surviving and creating during this crisis, I had to say it's amazing that you've been able to put together a fall season, Woodie. So I wanted to make sure that I had you on because we're really upon it at the moment. The OctoberFest, which is starting this month in October, which consists of 5 plays dedicated to Chadwick Boseman. I know that you have a history with this extraordinary actor. So what made you decide to dedicate this festival to Chadwick Boseman?
Well, when we were planning this and putting it all together, halfway through the planning and halfway through the putting it together, maybe a little further, Chadwick passed suddenly at 43 years old. And he had been an integral part of New Federal Theater, having appeared in Urban Transitions with the late Diane Kirksey, who played his mother, who was in it 3 days later, and she passed. She passed 3 days after Chadwick passed.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, it was, Joan, it was so terrifying. It was so frightening of the same ailment. So we said, we got to keep Chadwick Boseman because the artwork had gone out, the things that we sent people was on our website. And that's why we named it after the late Chadwick Boseman. He appeared in Urban Transition, which I directed, written by Ron Milner. It was Ron Milner's last play. And so many people, the agents and managers and all the people who came down to see it. It was invited to the National Black Theater Festival in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And Chadwick won a Delco Award for it. So it was a wonderful, wonderful send-off for him from the New Federal Theater out into that professional world. And so we named it after Chadwick Boseman.
Yes, so can you tell us a little bit about this very extraordinary, talented actor? Did you immediately say to yourself, wow, you know, he's going to go far? I mean, what do you recall of those initial days of his performance, which was quite some time ago? You didn't mention the year, but that was quite some time ago.
Yeah, I met Chadwick in Chicago, and he was a writer, having a play read. Deep Azure was the name of the play. He was a playwright, trying to make his name in the theater as a playwright. And he was in the reading, and the reading was so unique and so different, his reading of the play. And I said, well, maybe it's because he wrote it and he knows the people he's writing about. But then I talked to him afterwards, and I said, Chadwick, if you ever come to New York, let's get together. He said, I already live in New York. I'm out here doing this play. And so since he lived in New York already, we got together, and then he began working at New Federal Theater.
Did he ever come back, you know, as he made his leap to Hollywood?
No, he did 4 or 5 films. He left the play, Urban Transitions, and went into television almost immediately. Law and Order, other television shows that were shooting in and around New York. They loved him. He got an agent. They loved him. And the next thing I knew after television, of course, is the movies. He did 42 about Jackie Robinson, Get On Up about James Brown, Thurgood about the late Thurgood Marshall, and of course, Black Panther, and the Spike Lee film, the last one.
Yes, yes, yes. So, while, you know, it's a sad, it's kind of a bittersweet story. It's wonderful. Yeah. It's wonderful that, you know, you had that vision. You have to wonder, you know, whether it was sent from above to honor him. But at the same time, I know you would have felt better if he was present physically to be part of this. But let's talk about the 5 plays that you selected for this OctoberFest. Woody, what made you decide to select these 5?
These are 5 plays that I've been involved with at New Federal Theater or as a producer or as a director. And the first play we're doing starting October 1st is Do Lord, Remember Me by James G. Young, Dr. James G. Young. We first produced that at New Federal Theater.
And why did you, considering you've done so many plays and been involved in so many plays, why did you decide to choose these 5?
Well, we're doing it on Zoom, and you got to deal with things that are Zoom related, that you know can be done on Zoom. And I think these plays can be done on Zoom. For example, Stories of the Old Days is about a blues singer and a jazz guy who used to play. It's 2 people. That's Zoom related.
Yes.
From the Mississippi Delta, you could go on YouTube now and hear slave narratives. People talking about the days when they were slaves and what they went through. That is our first play. That's what Dr. Jim DeJong put together. And
you mean Do Lord, Remember Me?
Yes.
Yes.
And these actors, these phenomenal actors, Roscoe Lee Brown, Barbara Montgomery, Glenn Turman, Ebony Joanne, they're just fabulous. Kim Sullivan, they're just fabulous at this. And it's directed by Reggie Life.
Yes, I'm going to be talking with a number of them later in the program.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen the work, but you know,
works.
I know it's a critically acclaimed play, and the subject matter is so interesting. And from my understanding, except for Chuck Patterson, everybody who was in the original cast are in this performance, which is amazing because it was done between 1996 and 1997. So I know there must have been challenges then. What are the differences in terms of these challenges now?
The challenges of course, you know, you're doing it on
Zoom,
on streaming television. I mean, that is a major challenge, not to be able to go in and watch these artists on stage with mostly close-ups, mostly telling stories. It's about those actors who are masters at telling stories with glances. That's why once people go to Hollywood, people come to New York to work on stage, they got to relearn, they got to learn the medium. The medium is very difficult, which you know, and I think you and Richard Wesley handles it very well because you're dealing with a different kind of medium.
Thank you. Well, it's the only medium that I know, but I tell you, Zoom is challenging.
Yes.
For us who have been in TV, you know, there's always something new that comes up that you don't expect.
You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to happen.
Yes. no matter what.
Let
But
me
you've done a great job with it, and you've been really courageous to do this because you do it in such a short amount of time. Thank you so much, Woodie, for joining us today. We look forward to seeing all of the great work that's being presented during OctoberFest.